I'm not even gonna lie, wrestling fans and anime fans are two same peas in a very different pod. But still, when it comes down to things, both of them just kind of come down to the one big obvious issue when it comes to both of these genres is that they're both very fickle in what they want. Because if you look at the obvious situation with the Oni Mai anime that's coming out very soon, the anime that's about a brother that gets turned into a female, mainly because his sister ended up making some scientific experiment on him, saying, "Hey boy, you gonna be my new research material today, so get in here and produce that ass." And that's basically what that happened. Obviously, the moment people hear anything about genders, you already know what's gonna happen. Where's the trans representation? I need some trans representation. Yes, this is going to be our anime, people. This is trans representation. People want representation way too much. I'm gonna be very honest with you, and it's honestly very annoying. When it comes to the racist side of things, or when it comes to the gender side of things, people just want too much. And that's kind of like the fatter problem here, especially, because it just creates headcanons of things that does not exist, and then get mad at the material that exists out there, and be like, well, I wanted a trans representation, but, you didn't give us that, so F your anime, we're gonna send some, threats to your way and your studio staff. And it's ridiculous. Number one, you imagine a whole ass headcanon, so, like, if you wanted that representation that wasn't even going to be there in the first place, why the hell did you go ahead and try to, make it, like it's actually gonna be a thing in the anime? It's not a thing that's gonna happen in that show. And, if you want like a actual story that actually fits your needs, then make your own damn story. It's not that hard, honestly. Like, if there's something in an anime that you don't necessarily agree with, or you want to see done better or whatever, then create your own damn story. Hey, I get, and that's what the point of headcanons is, but so many people try to make it canon or try to make it like an actual thing, to the point it's like ridiculous, especially when it comes to like the trans representation of things, honestly. And a lot of times when companies do it or get involved in it, let's be honest, a lot of them very, very well suck at their job of it. High Guardian Spice, really bad try at it, honestly, with Snapdragon and how he was basically groomed into that logic and stuff. There should have been another better way of him getting into it, if I'm being perfectly honest. If that's what Snapdragon really wanted to do. And then obviously the whole Bridget thing, which we ain't finna get into that nonsense, because that was actual nonsense. If people still talking about it like it's the Kick Vic situation, or the Stand With Vic situation, or whatever, I will never actually talk about that situation, because that situation is even worse than the Bridget situation. I'll be very honest with you, because it's all tiring. But when it comes down to things, again, if you wanted like an anime that actually does something with trans characters or whatever, and if you have the budget and money to make it, or if you just want to make a fiction of it, then do it. There is literally no one stopping you. There is plenty of things in anime that I don't necessarily like or agree with when it comes to the character story and all that type of stuff. To be perfectly honest, why do you think I have the Quickatsu story existing? It's literally what if I were to go into the anime universe, or like some parts of an anime universe where I have complete control over a lot of things, and then just kind of do things with like different female characters and no other male characters exist. You really thinking I'm not about to? And people also question me like, Jay, why do you have so much sex in your series? To be honest, if you were trapped into the anime world, if you really went into the anime world of your choosing, or had to be around the characters of your choosing, whatever, you mean to tell me you wouldn't try that? You mean you tell me you would be so innocent and pure that you wouldn't try that? That's cap, and that's a lie, and someone's gonna get shot. That's 100%, and that's literally how it goes. So, that would be kind of like, yeah, I would definitely try to clap some ass if I was in that universe. And that's my canon. And same thing with like, changing like things that actually is canon in our world, obviously. Like Issei in High School DxD being a thing and being the main character, being, the way he is. I killed Issei in my series because I don't like the asshole. That, not saying I don't like DxD. I love DxD. I just hate Issei. That's the only thing. But obviously, even though that's my headcanon, that's my reality of things, that's not the real canon of everything now, is it, honestly? And that's kind of the thing. That's the beauty of headcanons and fanfiction. You can make and do whatever you want. So you can have and please whoever you choose to when it comes to your story. But when people go as far as to be like, no, it needs to have this representation, it needs to have that type of representation, all it does is just make things a lot more realistic, and personally, I just don't really care for that. Because let's be perfectly honest, fiction is fiction for a reason. There is a reason why there's not a lot of realisticness, or like when there is a story when there's not too much realisticness. There's a reason why that there's just like different stories that exist, and different fictional media that exists, and different type of realities and rules and stuff to fiction that exists, because there's some things that just don't necessarily need to be put there like it is in the real world, or it needs to be, you know, examined like it is in the real world. If they want to put that in, then they can put that in if they want to, but it shouldn't be up to anybody else outside the creator if they want to make something happen within the story, even if it's a bad decision. Honestly, that's literally kind of how it is. Honestly, you just can't force anybody to just, oh, I want trans representation, so you better put it in, bitch. Like, you can't necessarily do that. That's just not necessarily you can absolutely do. And thinking that you can about whining on the internet is just absolutely retarded, and it doesn't necessarily make any type of sense. It really just doesn't. If the anime wants to go in a trans route, honestly, then it can. But if it don't want to, it doesn't necessarily have to, because it's fiction at the end of the day. No one really cares. Hell, it could be on some wild shit. It could literally, there's lots of animes with, like, you know, slaves and shit, and it's used in the weirdest of way, you know, and it's whatever, honestly, because it's fiction. It's not necessarily real. It's not like that's what the creator thinks, that, oh, all people should be some type of slaves, or certain type of people should be slaves in some shape or form. That's not the realisticness of the situation, obviously. And that, again, that's the beauty of fiction, because you can just make whatever the hell you want to and just get away with it and just do it because it's fiction. It's not necessarily something that you personally might believe in, you know. It's just literally you just having fun with a fictional piece of media that you would want to see, honestly. That's essentially what it is. But just again, the fact that people want to fight over representation and go so hard about it is ridiculous. It's no different from the people that like try to make like these fixed versions of anime characters by making them black, or like associating X anime character with being black. I can see the similarities, do not get me wrong, I can definitely see possible similarities, but if you're out here trying to make like these art edits and basically trace over these scenes and trace over these moments and characters, or go into MS Paint and just splatter a black skin tone on like a character, that's like trash. Now, I will give you respect if you make a original ass artwork that's not traced, and, you know, make the character black if you just want to do that, and if it's like an original piece with no type of, you know, crazy ass way of thinking about it, then I will give you your respect. I will personally hand you your props. But there's so many people that's out there trying to fix the art because there's no like black representation, when bitch, yes there is. You just don't want to see it. You really don't want to see it, honestly, and it's actually showing. So when it comes down to things, I'm not necessarily saying you can't add whatever type of representation you want to add. Feel free to add whatever you want. It is fiction after all. However, if someone makes the show the way they want to, they shouldn't have to be forced to put either a representation in, or they shouldn't have to, you know, be bombarded with a whole bunch of idiot fans and idiot like people to come through and just be like, no, this is what the show is actually about. You know, like, I'm more concerned, I was a little bit honestly more concerned about this show with the whole trans representation and how falsely people were believing it than it is with the whole lolly thing. Honestly, because the lolly debate is going to be the same damn debate all over again. And so this time, this anime has a helping of both of these problems. So, you know, it is what it is, and people are going to complain about it. So when it comes down to things, it's just a really annoying situation to be put up with. It's a really annoying situation just to deal with, if I'm being perfectly honest. And it goes again, representation. This is what I was wanting to say like a long time ago. Representation don't need to necessarily be in everything. It really just doesn't. Especially to this degree if we're gonna just go and make everybody just, you know, go ballistic off of something that wasn't even promised in the first place. It's just absolutely ridiculous, and it doesn't make any kind of sense. Honestly, I'm not gonna personally watch this anime, but you know, it might be good, it might not. I'm not necessarily telling you to not watch it or anything like that, but it's just the amount of headaches that goes around this anime is just absolutely ridiculous too. When it comes down to this, if you're actually offended by it, or like the fact that this character or this anime doesn't have proper trans representation, or it's just some lolly shit and shota shit, then honestly, please grow the hell up and grow some thicker skin. So that's basically all I want to say for this one, so hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on the way out. Also follow me on Twitter, and you'll let the donate to the channel, Patreon is available as well. And until then, it's Boy J, signing off. Have a blessed day.